Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you again in our new episode. So I'm Teacher Louela, and today we will discuss about teaching reading comprehension. So are you ready? Alright, so let's proceed. So we have two ways in teaching reading comprehension. First, we have the traditional teaching, and the second one, we have the explicit teaching. In the traditional teaching, teacher is the one who guides the students for them to understand or comprehend the story they are reading. While on the other hand, in explicit teaching, the comprehension strategies are directly taught to the students for them to apply. So let's go now in explicit teaching. In explicit teaching, there is a teaching flow that we need to follow. We have there the direct explanation, modeling, guided practice, and of course, application. So here are the teaching flow that we need to follow. First is the direct explanation. In direct explanation, we should explain what is the strategy, when should we use this strategy, and of course, on how are we going to use it. Next step is the modeling. In here, we should demonstrate on how do we do this comprehension strategy. Third step is the guided practice. In here, we'll let the students to use the comprehension strategy, but of course, with our guidance. And last step, we have the application. In this step, we'll let our students to utilize the comprehension strategies, but this time without our guidance, in order for us to ensure that they really understand how to apply that certain comprehension strategy. They also call this step as individual practice. Alright, so now let's proceed to the 5 comprehension strategies. First, we have questioning. Second is summarizing or retelling. Third is the use of graphic organizers. Fourth is inferencing. And of course, fifth is recognizing text structures. Alright, so we are done discussing the 2 methods in teaching reading comprehension. We also have discussed the teaching flow that we need to follow in teaching our students the reading comprehension strategies that they need to familiarize in order to fully comprehend the text or stories that they are reading. And so, let us now discuss the 5 comprehension strategies that students need to learn in order to apply and use it in their reading. Alright, so first we have questioning. We have 2 methods in doing it. First is the interrupted questioning. Second is the uninterrupted questioning. Let's first discuss the interrupted questioning. In here, students will read a paragraph and write questions about it. And then, he or she may proceed reading the second paragraph and write another questions about it. Or, it could also be like this. The students may construct questions whenever there is an important event seen in the story. The next one is the uninterrupted questioning, wherein here, students will write some questions only after reading the entire story. Maybe you are wondering which one or which among the two is better. For me, I'm gonna suggest the first one, which is the interrupted questioning. Because of course, first, it lets the students slowly digest the story because they immediately create questions about the story whenever there is unclear to them, which makes them understand the story they are reading. Second is that it avoids informative shock among the students because they don't need to finish the entire story before having some questions. So how do we teach questioning? Let us now apply teaching flow. Let us explain what is questioning. Next, let us demonstrate how to do the questioning strategy. Then, let the students ask questions with the guide of the teacher. Lastly, let the students make questions on their own. Now let us discuss the second type of comprehension strategy, which is the summarizing or retelling. When summarizing stories, it is better if we use graphic organizer like this. So what is the benefit of using graphic organizer? First, it helps students to organize their thoughts. Second, it helps students to get the most important information in the story. Now let us apply the teaching flow in summarizing. First, we need to explain to our students what is summarizing. Second, we need to demonstrate to them on how to summarize a certain text. And of course, in demonstrating, we also need to show them the process or steps needed to take from the very beginning up to the end. Lastly, we need to let the students to summarize a different story on their own. Let us now move on to the next comprehension strategy, which is the inferencing. Ability to relate a certain situation on his or her own experience. Second, ability to find clues stated on the text. Now let us proceed to the last comprehension strategy, which is recognizing text structures. Here, students must learn the different kinds of text structures. So we have two kinds of text structures. First, we have the information text, and second, we have the literary text. Let's go first in the information text. Under information text, there are subcategories. First, we have the cause and effect. Second, we have the problem and solution. Third, we have compare and contrast. Fourth, we have time order sequence. And lastly, we have description. In literary texts, we also have subcategories. First, we have the character. Second, we have the setting. Third is the events. Fourth are the problems. And last is resolution. In teaching text structures, we may use graphic organizer like this in order for the students to easily organize their thoughts and easily find and comprehend the important events and information in the text. Alright, so now let us have the application of the 5 comprehension strategies. Alright, so good morning everyone. So we have here today is our grade 8 student from Pangasinan School of Arts and Trades, no other than Maxine Jen V. Basa. Alright, so how are you, Maxine?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, alright. So, Maxine, we have here a short story entitled The Eternal Bond of Brother and Sister. So, after reading this story, we have here a story map. So, this is the story map. So, we have here the setting, the characters, the beginning, the middle, and the end, in which you are going to answer later on. Is it clear? Yes, alright. So are you ready? Alright, so later on in every paragraph or slides that I'm going to show, if you have some questions or something that you wanted to clarify, you may do so. Alright, so you may start.
Eternal bond of brother and sister. I was born in a secluded village on a mountain. Day after day, my parents plowed the yellow dry soil with their backs towards the sky. One day, I wanted to buy a hand kerchief which all girls seem to have. So one day I stole 50 cents from my mother to heard about the stolen money right away.
Alright, so any question? Okay, so did you understand the first paragraph? Alright, so according to the first paragraph, the character lives or born in a secluded village. It's a secluded village that is an isolated, hidden village on a mountain. So day after day, his parents plow the yellow dry soil with their backs towards the sky. So her parents are plowing soil, yellow dry soil, and their backs are towards the sky. So what do you think is their job or their work?
Farmer.
Yes, a farmer, of course, because they are digging the soil. So one day, I wanted to buy a handkerchief which all girls around me seem to have. So I stole 50 cents from the father's drawer. Father discovered about the stolen money right away. So what did the character do? She stole a 50 cents, isn't it? Yes, so she stole a 50 cents on his father's drawer. And the father found out what happened, right? Yes, of course. So let's proceed to the second paragraph. Can you read?
Who stole the money? He asked my brother and me. I was start to afraid to the joke. Neither of us admitted to the fault. So he said, "Fine. If nobody wants to admit, you both should be punished." Suddenly, my younger brother gripped father's hand and said that I was the one who did it. He took the blame and punishment for me.
Alright, so here, when the father asked who stole the money, did anyone admitted? Did anyone admitted the crime or the fault? No one, right? Isn't it, Maxine? Yes, no one. So the father decided he will going to punish both of them because no one wants to admit their fault, right? And then what happened? The brother gripped the father's hand. And what did the brother say?
Said that I was the one who did it.
Yes. So finally, the younger brother admitted that he took the blame and said, I was the one who did it, father. So what will happen? Let's see. Can you read?
In the middle of the night, all of a sudden, I cried out loudly. My brother covered my mouth with his little hand and said, Sis, now don't cry anymore. Everything has happened. I will never forget my brother's expression when he protected me. That year, my brother was 8 years old and I was 11 years old. I still hate myself for not having enough courage courage to admit what I did. Years went by, but the incident still seemed like it just happened yesterday.
Yes. So here, after the younger brother admitted that he is the one who did or who stole the 50 cents from brother's drawer, even if it's not, his sister cried out loud. Because why? Because she felt what? She felt upset. Because what? It should be the sister, right? It should be the sister who admitted that she is the one who did it. But she wasn't able. She doesn't have courage. And so the younger brother told him that, don't cry anymore, sister. Everything has happened. And so, what? Can you see? The brother was only 8 years old and the sister was 11 years old. But still, the younger brother has more courage to what? Has more courage to admit the fault, right? To cover up his sister, right? Right, so let's see what happened next. Ellie, read. Continue.
When my brother was in his last year of secondary school, he was accepted in an upper secondary school in the central part of town. At the same time, I was accepted into a university in the province. That night, father spotted me. Spotted in the yard, smoking packet by packet. I called him, asked my mother. Both of our children, they have good results. Very good results. Mother wiped off her tears and sighed.
What is
the use? How can we possibly finance both of them?
Alright, so here is the problem. There is a problem, right? Yes, the problem is that his brother was going to upper secondary school, isn't it? Upper secondary school, meaning he will going to senior high, isn't it? And together with that is his sister was now going to college, to university. And so the parents are financially incapable of sending their children to school
brother walked out. He stood in front of father and said, "Dad, I don't want to continue my study anymore. I have read enough books." Father became angry. "Why do you have a spirit so weak? Even if it means I have to beg for money on the street.
I have to beg.
I have to beg for money on the street. I will send you to school until you have both finished your studies." And then he started to knock on every house in the village to borrow money.
Alright, so here, what happened? The brother walked
out
and stood in front of his father and said, the brother said, "I don't want to
continue my study anymore."
Yes, the brother said, "I don't want to continue my study anymore." Because according to him, he already read enough books. And then the father said, "Why do you have a spirit so weak? Even if it means that I have to beg for money on the streets, I will send you to school until you have both finished your studies." So the father said, "Why do you have spirit so weak? I will do things, I will do everything, even if begging, just to send you to school," said the father. And then, what do you think will happen next? Let's see. I
stuck out my hand as gently as I could to my brother's face. I told him a boy has to continue his study. If not, he will not be able to overcome his poverty we are experiencing. I, on the other hand, had decided not to further my study at the university.
Alright, so the sister is thinking also because she heard her brother and her father talking to each other about their studies. The sister thinking that I should do something for us to be able to study in school. But we are only poor, said by the girl. What should I do? She said that if my younger brother will not be able to overcome this poverty we are experiencing, what will happen? They won't be able to overcome the poverty. Alright, so let's see what will happen next.
Nobody knew that on the next day, before dawn, my brother left the house with a few pieces of worn out clothes. Worn out clothes and a few blankets. He sneaked to my side of the bed and left a note on my pillow. "She is getting into a university study. I will go find a job and I will send money to you." I held the note while sitting on my bed and cried until I lost my voice.
Alright, so here, the younger brother decided that he will not going to pursue his studies. Instead, he will find a job in order to help his sister, to be able to go to school. Right? Alright, so let's see what happened next. Can you read?
With the money father borrowed from the school village, and the money my brother Comprehension Society. Finally, I managed to get the third year of my study in the university. That year, my brother was 17 years old and I was 20 years old.
Alright, so again, the brother find a job. He became a construction worker and helped his sister in pursuing her school, right? And now, the sister was in her third year of college. Let's see next. One day,
while I was studying in my roommate came in and told me there's a villager waiting for you outside. Why would there be a villager looking for me? I walked out and I saw my brother from afar. His whole body was covered with dirt, dust, cement, and sand. I asked him, why did you not tell me, my roommate, that you are my brother?
Alright, so there is this one day that his or her brother visited her, right? And then the brother didn't told the girl or his or her roommate that he is his brother because he is afraid that the brother or the roommate of his sister might what? Might laugh at her, right? Alright, so let's see. He replied
with a smile. Look at my appearance. What will they think if they would now?
No,
that I am your brother. Once they laugh at me, I felt so touched and tears filled my eyes. I swept away dirt and dust from my brother's body and told him with a lump
in my throat,
I don't care what people will say. You are my brother, no matter what your appearance.
Alright, so the sister said, I don't care what people would say. You are my brother and no matter what your appearance. Yes. So the sister is very proud of her brother, right? No matter what his appearance. Next.
From his pocket, he took out a butterfly pill. He put it on my hair. He put it on my hair and said, I saw all the girls in town are wearing it. I think he should.
You should?
I think he should also have one. I could not hold back myself anymore. I pulled my brother into my arms and cried. That year, my brother was 20 years old and I was 22 years old.
Alright, so here, the brother even buy a gift to his sister, a hair clip, right? Yes, next. After
I got married, I lived in the city. Many times my husband invited my parents to come and live with us, but they didn't want. They said once we leave the village, we would know what to do. My brother agreed with them. He said, please, you just take care of parents alone. I will take care of mom and
dad here. Alright, so after finishing college, the sister got married and lived in the city. So after that, he invited she invited her parents to come and live with them, right, in the city. But they resisted. They said that, yes, once they left the village, they wouldn't know what to do. And also, the brother said that, you just take care of your parents-in-law and I will take care of that here. Don't be worried about us, said by the brother. Alright, next. My husband
became the director of his factory. My husband became the director of his factory. He asked my brother to accept the offer of the manager in the maintenance department. But my brother rejected the offer. He insisted on working
as a
fireman
instead
for a time.
Alright. So, after the husband of the sister gets promoted, he asked her brother if he wants to what? To work on a high position in their department. But the brother resisted. Why? Why do you think so? Let's see. One day,
my brother was on the top of a ladder, repairing a cable, when he got electrocuted and was sent to the hospital. My husband and I visited him at the hospital. Looking at the plaster cast
on his leg,
I grumbled. Why did you reject the offer of being a manager? Managers want to do something dangerous like that. Now looking at you, you are suffering a serious injury. Why did you just listen to us?
Alright. So the sister said, why do you want to be a repairman when we can give you a high position as manager in that department? The brother said, if you do that, sister, what would others think about you and your husband? I was not able to finish my studies, but I will get a higher position in a factory. Others will think wrong about you if you did that, said by the brother. Next.
A serious expression on his face. He defended his decision. Think of your brother-in-law just become the director in IT. Uneducated will become a manager. What kind of rumors will fly around? My husband's eyes filled up with tears, and then I said, but you lack education only because of me.
So said the sister said that you only lack education because of me, because you sacrificed for me. Alright. Next.
Why do you talk about the past? He said, and then he held my hand. That year, he was 26 years old. I was
29 years
old. My brother was 30 years old with married a farmer girl. From the village during the wedding reception, the master of ceremonies asked, who is the one person you respect and love the most?
Respect
and love the most.
Alright, so here comes the wedding of her brother. And what? The master of ceremonies asked him, "Who is the one person you respect and love the most?" Who do you think so? Let's see. Can you read?
Without ever taking a time, he answered, "My sister." He continued by telling a story I could not even remember. When I was in primary school, the school was in different village. Every day, my sister and I would walk for 2 hours to school and back home. One day, I lost one of my gloves. My sister gave me one of hers. She wore only one glove. She had to walk far when we got home. Her hands were trembling because of the cold weather. She should not even hold her chopstick. From that day on, I swore that as long as I live, I will take care of my sister and will always be good to her.
Alright, so here, the younger brother said that the person I care and love most and respect most is my sister. Because there's this one story way back then when they are child that the younger brother lost one of his gloves. And then what happened? The oldest sister gave hers to her brother. And then the brother got touched and said that from now on, I will protect you. I will promise to protect my sister as long as I live, said by the brother. Next. Applause.
Applause filled up the room. All guests turned their attention to me. I found it hard to speak in my whole life. The one I would like to thank most is my brother. And
in this happy occasion,
in front the crowd is rolling down again.
Alright, so see how the sister was touched by the message of her brother. And then the crowd started to applaud. They clapped for the story of the brother, and because of so much or overwhelming feeling felt by the sister, her tears start to fall down from her eyes. Alright, so what a lovely story, right? Isn't it? Yes. Alright, so how's the story, Maxine? Did you enjoy it?
Yes po.
Did you understand the story?
Yes po.
Alright, so now let's proceed to our activity, which is the story map. So we have here the setting, the characters, beginning, middle, and end. And what you're going to do is to fill out those needed information in the boxes. So are you ready?
Yes po.
Alright, so let's start with the setting. Where did the story happen?
At home.
Alright, so it happened at home. How about the characters portrayed in the story?
Brothers and sisters, mother and father.
Alright, so we have there the brother, the younger brother, the older sister or the sister, the father, mother, or the parents, right? Yes. So how did the story begin?
The sister stole 50 cents on father's drawer, but she didn't admit it. So the little brother took the punishment out. The sister get upset for what happened and cried.
Alright, so at first the sister stole 50 cents in his or in her father's work, and then she didn't admit it. Instead, the brother took the punishment, admit the fault and took the punishment. And so the sister cried all night, right? Yes. How about the middle part of the story or the climax?
There is the one time that the family was eventually incapable of sending the two siblings to school. So the younger brother gave way to his older sister. Instead of studying, he decided to find a job in order to help send his sister to a university and for her finish her studies.
Alright, so in the middle part, there's this one time that the family is incapable of sending their child to school because the brother is going to senior high school that time, right? And the sister is in her third year college. And so the brother gave way to his sister. Instead of studying, he find job and help his sister to go in sending her to school, right? How about the end of the story?
After the older sister finished her studies, she is now married and live in the city. As soon as her husband get promoted, she offered the younger brother to have a high position in the factory where his husband is working, but her brother resisted it. Years passed by, and the younger brother was now 30 years old and got married to a farmer girl. And their wedding, the brother told a story about how grateful he is to his sister for this one time that his sister gave him her piece of gloves when he lost his other pair. And from that time, he promised to take care of his sister and be a good at her as long as he lives. And from that moment, tears began to fall from the eyes of the sister, for he realized how much his brothers love him.
Yes, very good, Maxine. So, after finishing her college, the sister was married, right? And lived in the city. And then there's this one time that her husband get promoted, and then the sister offered a high position to her brother, but the brother resisted it, right? Because he said that, what will others think? I am uneducated and I will get a higher position. Isn't it not fair to the others? Said by the brother. And there's this one time when here comes the wedding of the younger brother, and then the master of ceremonies asked him, who is the person you respect and love most, right? And the brother shared the story about sister and him, when there is this one time that the brother lost his piece of gloves, and then his sister gave her her gloves, right?
Yes.
The sister took out her gloves and gave it to her brother, right? And then from that moment, the brother realized how lucky he is to have promised himself that what? He's going to take care of his sister
and be
while
good
he
at her
is,
as
yes, and be good at her while he is still living. And then from that moment, of course, the sister get overwhelmed and felt touched from the what? From the message of her brother. And then tears flow from the eyes of the sister, and then that's the end, right? They show how much they care and love for one another. So truly, brothers and sisters are or have an eternal bond to each other. Alright?
yes po.
You can feel it from the story. Alright, so indeed, did you understand the story, Maxine?
Yes po.
Yes, alright.
Yes po.
Maxine. Alright. So, thank you very much, Maxine, for allowing me or allowing us to be part of this what? Of this instructional video. Thank you very much, Maxine. And thank you very much for watching. We hope that you learned something new in this new episode. See you again till next time